Every time you use ChatGPT, unlock your phone with face recognition, or watch a self-driving car navigate a city street, just know it took an immense human effort to make that possible. While everyone recognizes the programmers and researchers at top universities, the critical people who made this possible are much lesser known and watching their laptop screens waiting for the next task to appear. This is the story of the hidden workforce behind AI. The digital economy isn't new, and since the early 2000s, people have paid each other to complete small digital tasks online. Companies outsource simple, repetitive jobs, and anonymous workers anywhere in the world could claim them for a few cents each. Categorize this image, transcribe this audio clip, verify this address. It was functional, unglamorous, and a niche corner of the internet that very few people paid attention to, and even fewer took seriously. Then, self-driving cars happened. Tesla, Waymo, GM, and every major company on Earth was racing to put autonomous vehicles on the road. But here's the problem. You can't just let an untrained AI loose on the highway with many lives at stake. Before a car can make a split-second decision about a pedestrian stepping off a curb, it needs to have seen that exact scenario millions of times. And the only way to teach it is mass amounts of training data. And creating that data is incredibly difficult. To do this, you take real driving footage and you have humans go through it, frame by frame, drawing precise outlines around every car, every person, and every lane marking. Thousands of hours of video, millions of individual labels, all done by hand. Overnight, the demand for cheap human labor exploded. At the same time, Venezuela's economy was collapsing, facing political corruption, hyperinflation, and US sanctions. A country that had once been Latin America's wealthiest economy collapsed almost overnight. Inflation hit 10 million%, and people with engineering degrees, law careers, and entire life plans suddenly had nothing. Nearly 2 million Venezuelans fled to Colombia alone, and for the many struggling workers desperate to earn an income, the opportunity to help AI companies labor through training data was ideal. On paper, everyone benefits, but then human nature took over. Companies realized they'd stumbled into an entire population of educated, capable workers who would accept almost any rate, so rates dropped, then dropped again and again. Tasks that once paid $1 started paying 10 cents, then 5. Take Osharina Veronica Fuentes Anaya. She was almost finished with her engineering master's when Venezuela fell apart. After fleeing with her husband to Colombia, she landed a job at a local call center. But almost immediately the call center was shut down, and her husband couldn't get legal work authorization, and rent was due. Fuentes started searching for anything she could do from a laptop. That's when someone mentioned working as a data annotator. Online platforms connect AI companies with human workers to label data. The work itself was aggressively boring. Does this image show a traffic violation? Which category does this product belong to? Clothing or accessories? A few cents each time, over and over, all day. Anything requiring English, she ran through Google Translate. After every completed task, a tiny number ticked up on her screen, her balance displayed in US dollars. $10 was the minimum needed to cash out. Early on, hitting that threshold wasn't hard, but as news of the platform spread through the Venezuelan communities desperate for any income, rates dropped. Supply was endless, and the $10 cash out started taking weeks, and during those weeks, it was sometimes the only money standing between her family and an empty fridge. Then, the competition got worse. Jobs were claimed on a first-come, first-served basis. Due to the increased demand for new tasks, a task would be fully staffed within seconds. One afternoon, she stepped outside for a walk. A task dropped, one that would have covered an entire month of expenses, but by the time she made it back to her apartment, it was gone. She never left on a weekday again. On weekends only, and for 30 minutes, she would leave her apartment, as there were much less tasks created on the weekends. At night, she barely slept, kept awake by the possibility of a new task. She started leaving her laptop full volume so that if a new task appeared, she could roll out of bed and claim it before anyone else. Her entire existence had been reorganized around this task queue, and there was no other options. Her story isn't unique to Venezuela. It is representative of a pattern that has begun to play out across the world. In Kenya, many workers developed lasting trauma after earning only $1.50 per hour to review violence and abuse imagery to teach AI models how to filter it out. When they asked for better pay or mental health support, they were replaced. The underlying structure of all of this is piecework. No salary, no hours, just a few cents per task. If your output gets rejected, you eat the loss. If the rate drops, and the rate always drops, you work longer to make the same money. For some, this sounds eerily familiar to the horrifying cotton mills and garment workshops of the Industrial Revolution. The data annotation industry didn't invent anything new. It just took the oldest trick in the book and put it on the internet. In some ways, it made it worse. Factory workers had each other. They could compare notes, organize, push back, while digital workers sit alone in apartments halfway around the world, managed by no one. The boss isn't a person you can argue with, it's a notification. Next time an AI finishes your sentence, recognizes your face, or does something that feels like magic, just remember the cost of that feeling. Someone was paid pennies to teach it, and right now, somewhere, they're still watching their laptop screen, waiting for the next task to appear.